Hello and welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. It's Tuesday, August 26, and I'm your host, Edwin Atkinson. Back to school shopping is still in full swing, and if you're out and about crossing off that list, hang in there. You're almost at the finish line. The new school year will start soon. We have a lot in store for you, starting with an important message followed by our daily news. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break.
Find out where you are to vote before Election Day. On Election Day, visit your polling station and listen to the instructions of the presiding officer. Remember to bring your new voter ID card. You may still vote without your ID card, but the process will be faster if you have it with you. Mark your ballot behind the voting booth and return your ballot folded. Once the counterfoil is removed, your ballot cannot be traced back to you. Dip your finger in the ink and watch as your ballot is deposited into the ballot box.
Your vote is your voice. Make it count.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, August 26, 2025. As the Dr. Barry Wint Scholarship enters its second year, approximately 151 recipients received grants on Friday to pursue studies in various fields. Over 500 scholarships were dispersed last year. The 5-year program is a commitment of $2.5 billion to support workforce training in the health sector. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton emphasizes that challenges in the health workforce globally and in Jamaica make the scholarship program critical to meeting shortages in specialties and skilled professionals. It also meets the growing demands of an evolving population.
And so we have to therefore develop a program that is going to populate the build-out of infrastructure that we have. And the government is very seized with the priority of doing that, which is why the Barry Wint Scholarship was developed.
Among the various areas of studies being supported are biomedical engineering, radiology, counseling therapy, medical physics, and dental nurse therapy. It is expected that by 2027, the scholarship program will yield approximately 63 nursing graduates, 4 biomedical engineers, 3 social workers, and 15 diagnostic imaging professionals who will serve the public health system. An additional 56 nurses are projected by 2028, as well as 10 midwives and 9 social workers. 134 doctors and 42 dentists will also be trained by 2029. Jamaica is to commence a pilot shortly using the sterile insect technique, SIT, to reduce the risk of mosquito-borne diseases. SIT is a method of insect pest control that is safe for people and the environment. Insects are sterilized using radiation, like gamma rays or X-rays, so that while they still compete for mates, they cannot reproduce. It aims to control the mosquito responsible for dengue, Zika, and other arboviruses. Director of the Health Promotion and Protection Branch in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Dr. Simone Spence, says hotter temperatures and unpredictable rainfall caused by climate change have made it even easier for mosquitoes to breed, heightening the risk for outbreaks. Dr. Spence reveals that following a few more consultations, Jamaica will commence testing of the methodology in conjunction with traditional methods to reduce the number of disease-carrying vectors.
We breed male mosquitoes in a controlled facility. They are sterilized using safe radiation, no genetic modification. When released, they mate with wild females but produce no offspring. So over time, the expectation is that the mosquito population that we have targeted will drop, and so does the risk of large, severe outbreaks.
Dr. Spence was addressing a recent SIT pilot project workshop. She informed that in 2023, the country reported more than 3,000 cases of dengue with 9 deaths. There were more than 1,500 cases and 19 deaths in January 2024. During that outbreak, children were among the most affected. SIT has been used in other countries alongside traditional control methods to cut disease cases, shorten outbreaks, and protect lives. The Bank of Jamaica BOJ has given assurance that it has enough foreign currency reserves to satisfy demand. Governor Richard Biles says the central bank has been able to maintain the exchange rate at a relatively stable level by selling into the foreign exchange market. He also highlights that gross international reserves stood at a historical high and healthy level of $6.2 billion as at August 12 this year. Speaking at the bank's quarterly press conference on Thursday, Mr. Biles indicated that the foreign exchange market recently experienced slightly higher than usual volatility, which was the result of temporary factors.
The exchange rate at the end of June depreciated by 2.5%, compared with the rate at the end of December 2024, which was faster than the pace of the previous 6 months. This unsteadiness was particularly evident in April and May, underpinned by temporary factors, including A. Uncertainties about developments in the global economy, B. The movement in the rate through the psychological threshold of $160 to $1, and C. A narrowing of the gap between domestic market interest rates and those in external markets.
Mr. Biles affirms the bank's commitment to presiding over the policy of maintaining a flexible exchange rate regime. A month into the rollout of the Electronic Motor Vehicle Registration Certificate, and Tax Administration Jamaica TAJ says over 65,000 e-certificates have been issued. It says success of the system continues with the replacement of the paper format and eliminating the use of a decal or sticker. The tax authority also notes that over 10% of the transactions were done online. In a release, Commissioner General of the TAJ, Ainsley Powell, says findings of a recent survey indicates that 74% of users had a seamless experience. Mr. Powell reiterates the agency's commitment to improving service delivery incrementally and changing the way it does business. The TAJ is encouraging all private motorists to utilize the online option for vehicle registration renewal as a fast, easier, and more convenient way to access their electronic motor vehicle registration certificate. But owners of other categories of vehicles, such as public passenger, commercial, diplomatic, and all categories of newly registered vehicles, are required to complete their registration in line at a tax office. These certificates will, however, be issued electronically. For further information, taxpayers may contact the TAJ Customer Care Center at 888-TAX-HELP. That's 888-829-4357, or visit the TAJ website at jamaicatax.gov.jm. 700 members of Jamaica's criminal justice system are being targeted for participation in an island-wide series of social justice and gender sensitivity training workshops. It will also engage other stakeholders such as police officers, justices of the peace, and mediators. The training is designed to improve access to justice for vulnerable communities. At the launch last week, key stakeholders expressed that the initiative would strengthen and build an inclusive justice system.
This training is critical because it addresses gaps in how justice services are delivered, especially to those who experience multiple and overlapping forms of marginalization, such as women, children, persons with disabilities, and members of rural and underserved communities.
Together, we are advancing a shared vision, a Jamaica where justice is truly accessible, truly inclusive, and truly equitable. Thank you for your dedication to this work and for being part of the journey toward a more just and equitable society.
The workshop forms part of the Social Justice SoJust project funded by the Government of Canada and implemented by the Ministry of Justice. It is also in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP. And finally, the Jamaica Information Service, JIS, delivered on its social responsibility to the Mount Olivet Boys Home recently with back-to-school supplies. The annual treat also included career talks from the Jamaica Fire Brigade and the Jamaica Defense Force. The items were acquired through various internal fundraising initiatives and donations by JIS staff members, as well as support from corporate Jamaica. Director of Human Resource Management and Development at the JIS, Dr. David Knight, reassured residents and staff of the agency's commitment to supporting the home.
We are an institution that we talk about every day. Your emblem, your building, your needs are on our minds. And we have a team which is working all year to make sure that we can share some special time with you and to make sure that you know that you are special.
Appreciation was also expressed by Mount Olivet and the Dr. Sue and You Foundation for the continued support.
I want to say thank you so much, Mrs. Davis and JIS, for your continued hard work.
It's always been a pleasantry to be able to do so much and paying it forward.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Becoming a justice of the peace sounds like a great way to serve the country, right? But what if you once had a criminal record that has since been expunged? Well, the door is not closed, as you'll find out next.
Imagine you've to turn your life around after a mistake that led to a criminal record. The slate has been wiped clean through the process of expungement. But now, you are faced with a new challenge, a desire to serve your community as a Justice of the Peace JP. However, one question lingers in the back of your mind. Will my past, though officially legally erased, still haunt my future? Let's find out. But first, who is a Justice of the Peace and what is meant by the term expungement? A Justice of the Peace, commonly referred to as a JP, is a person of unquestionable integrity who seeks to promote and protect the rights of individuals. JPs are essential figures in the community, serving in various capacities that include witnessing documents, serving as lay magistrates, and playing crucial roles in the legal and judicial system. Now let's talk about expungement. This term refers to the process of having a conviction removed from one's criminal or police record after a specific period has elapsed and certain requirements have been met. It's a legal way to ensure that past mistakes don't define your future. If you're looking to become a JP, here's the first step in the application process.
You may apply by first going on the Ministry of Justice's website at moj.gov.jm, and you can download the application to become a Justice of the Peace. If you do not have access to the internet, then you may visit the custos in your parish and access a form. We also have the application forms at our justice centers, or you may come to the Ministry of Justice at 61 Constant Spring Road to get an application form.
Once you have the application form, you'll need to gather the necessary documents.
So you have to be able to establish your age, your date of birth. And so you need your birth certificate. If it is that you have a name change, you may need to provide, for example, if you have gotten married, a marriage certificate, or if you have done a depol. And so you may have to take the necessary steps just to make sure that the official name that you carry is validated through these instruments. So you should have a copy of those to be provided to the ministry through your custos.
You will also have to obtain 2 letters of recommendation. You may get the letters of recommendation from a Justice of the Peace or a police officer at the rank of superintendent upwards. A pastor of a church may also provide the recommendation. One crucial aspect of the application process is the declaration of any past criminal convictions.
But what the government of Jamaica has done through the Criminal Records Rehabilitation of Offenders Act under Section 25 what it speaks to on the legal status, and I prefer to read the exact language of it. It says, a rehabilitated person shall, in relation to any expunged conviction for all purposes in law, be deemed to be a person who has never been charged with, prosecuted for, convicted of, or sentenced for the offense to which that conviction relates. Once the record is expunged, there is no need for you to make that indication on the form.
So simply put, having an expunged record does not stop you from becoming a justice of the peace, but it's important to take the necessary steps to ensure you have a clean record.
And so even though the steps would have been taken, approval given, and the records are expunged, if they do not take the additional steps to pay to the criminal records to have a clean record, the possibility of traces and evidence of them having been convicted could have implication.
Assuming you've taken the proper steps and have a clean record, now with the JP application form completed and submitted to the relevant custos, what's next?
Now, once the custos is in receipt of the application form, that custos has an obligation to ensure a discreet inquiry utilizing a police officer from the rank of inspector upwards. And once the custos would have conducted a discreet inquiry on the applicant, then the custos, having been satisfied that that applicant has a potential to continue to serve in his community, is a person of integrity based on the content of his application form, then the custos will submit that application to what we call the Justice of the Peace Advisory Committee, to which a custos is a chair, and that comprises 3 other persons: a judge, a police officer, and a person nominated by the Minister of Justice. That committee will assess the application and make a recommendation to the Minister of Justice to say that this applicant is suitable to be considered for the office of Justice of the Peace. The Minister will then make a recommendation to the Governor General for that person's appointment.
But before the Minister makes a recommendation to the Governor General,
the applicants are required to complete a training program at the Justice Training Institute. It is 18 hours contact to introduce them to the Office of Justice of the Peace and the requisite legislations that they will have to be mindful of that empowers them to carry out their functions.
Becoming a Justice of the Peace is a process that requires dedication, integrity, and a commitment to serving the community. Even with an expunged record, the opportunity to serve in this esteemed role is still within reach. Your past does not have to dictate your future.
This message is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Since 2016, the National Housing Trust has been transforming the housing landscape in Jamaica. Over the past 9 years, the NHT has created more than 67,000 mortgages, started over 31,000 housing solutions, and completed more than 21,000 homes. Over that period, the Trust has invested more than 343 billion Jamaican dollars in expanding housing access and improving living conditions across the island. That is the largest expenditure on housing in Jamaica's history and in the history of the NHT.
This message is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
What a summer it's been for children of Trenchtown. They've put their creativity on full display as part of the Ritamali Foundation's summer program. Let's look at the colorful expressions they've brought to life.
paintings, ceramic, bead making, a youthful pop-up shop. The talented young minds from the Trenchtown community turned creativity into opportunity when their creations took center stage in the Creative Arts Summer Program this year. The opportunity was provided by Wake Up Jamaica, a public education campaign spearheaded by the Rita Marley Foundation.
In doing projects like this, we hope to engage youth to develop them, give them real world skills that they can use to maybe support themselves in the future, but also to give them an avenue to express themselves.
This year's summer program ran for 3 weeks in July at the Trenchtown Community Center. There, more than 20 children between the ages of 5 and 13 participated free of cost. Each day began with quiet reflection.
So every single morning, we had the kids gather with the help of our ambassadors, and we took the time to have devotion with them, to really ground them. Each week we had a different area of focus, a different theme of focus. So the first week was love, the second week was hope and faith, and the last week was peace. We also touched on smaller themes like forgiveness throughout the program.
Art teaching sessions were led by a team of local artists and creative ambassadors.
I'm the art teacher there who teaches the youth them arts in a number of genres, meaning we teach them how to paint, we teach them how to mix color, we teach them a little ceramics.
In addition to the real world practical skills that we're instilling in them, which is the creative media in different art forms, so like ceramics, painting, we even did drama, we did dance.
And with every brush stroke and color, the youngsters created pieces that reflect a powerful theme and put them on display for others to experience and even purchase.
I paint about love, peace, hope, and faith. I painted flowers, butterfly, peace, love, hope, and faith.
The program culminated in the Trenchtown Kids Pop-Up Shop held at the historic Bob Marley Museum as part of Rita Marley's birthday celebrations on July 25.
The proceeds for this pop-up shop go towards the Kids Back to School Fund. So we plan to collate it, and we're actually going to be adding on to whatever is raised today in order to give back to the Kids Back to School Fund.
The kids, they come from different areas and they come as one and they do everything as one.
Your devices are important, and so is charging them safely.
Never charge your phones or your laptop in bed, or leave them charging on your sofa or on any material that is flammable. That is a risk that is too great for you to take on.
Instead, charge your devices on a hard surface and always unplug them once fully charged.
Jamaica's anime and cosplay community showed up and showed out for AnimeCom Fest 2025. It was a colorful celebration of all things anime, gaming, comics, and pop culture. Let's look at the creativity, community, and characters that brought the event to life.
As a country, we're not afraid to shine on the world stage, and that's what I expect from every single one of you here. You have a responsibility to live up to brand Jamaica's reputation, and not just be mediocre, or not just be ordinary, but we have to always know that because we're Jamaicans, we're destined to be extraordinary, out of the park, Jamaica to the world.
Recently, Jamaica's premier two-day AnimeCom Festival had its 7th staging at the National Arena in Kingston.
It's really impressive to see more and more Jamaicans partnering, coming together for a common purpose of developing a subsector of Jamaica's creative industry, which is anime. I mean, we know it's international, but we believe strongly that Jamaica's version can rise to where it dominates the world. We've done it before. We've had rhythm and blues music that our Jamaicans did a spin on it and created something called reggae. And reggae went on to become one of the greatest music genres on planet Earth.
AnimeCom celebrates animation, cosplay, comics, gaming, film, K-pop, content creation, and cultural diversity, bringing together fans, creators, and industry professionals while inspiring creativity and innovation among Jamaica's youth. And the support of parents has not gone unnoticed.
It's heartwarming for me to see that freedom and support that everybody here has to be able to shine in their own way. I grew up in the era where if you're not turning a doctor or a lawyer or something, then your parents vex with you. So I just want to appreciate the freedom and ask you to appreciate the freedom and patience that your parents are allowing to facilitate you to thrive in this field that we know can be massive.
So hi, I'm Panther, a cosplayer from Trinidad and Tobago. I've been cosplaying for 21 years. What is cosplay? So cosplay is a portmanteau of two words, costume and play, and it's basically the art of dressing up as a fictional character. It could be a character from anime, it could be a character from video games or Game of Thrones, television shows, it doesn't matter. It's basically the art of dressing up as a fictional character.
The move by promoters to change venues so the growing population of anime attendees can be better accommodated was welcomed.
Seeing it get bigger means that we are making a mark in Jamaica, to me at least, that there is another niche that needs to be pandered to, because we love these things, so we'll always support.
And that's it for today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Remember, kindness is the language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. Do join us again tomorrow for another informative show. In the meantime, visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for more news you can use. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Stay safe.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.